Welcome to the Third Chair. I'm Peter. That's
I'm
Doug.
Doug.
You are Doug.
Yeah, I'm Doug.
And it's so good to see you back. And this is our final episode.
Yep,
Sadly
and we
enough.
really appreciate Doug coming back. Well, after also the previous 5 episodes where you two did ridiculous tasks and still, and you don't know who won yet.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
But Doug promised me 3 times the pay I was getting for the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 3 times 0.
Zero is...
Oh my gosh, let me think about that.
As opposed to a check that just has 3 extra zeros.
It all depends. If you're Congress, then it's millions of dollars.
Yeah, or trillions, yeah. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is a variety of things, some reflections on the last 3 years about producing the show, as well as an introduction to one of our projects coming up. And so looking back over 3 years, Doug, what surprised you about all of this? The whole start to finish getting episodes up. What was surprising?
You know, some of our guests had such interesting stories, and some of it came out in such interesting ways. You talked a lot about the guy who was in Avalanche.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we had ladies who were sexually molested when they were younger come out, and really, I mean, I guess it was a cleansing for them. But they were more than willing to do it. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we asked permission, of course.
But I mean, they wanted to do it more than anything. And
I really admired their courage because they wanted people to know there was hope, there was treatment, there was life
both
even
of them
after
basically
death.
put their lives together. They have good lives now.
And it's amazing how, I mean, even some of them that I had known personally, I had no clue the depth of pain that they had been through and the things that they had done to.
I'm sure it causes a lot of pain, and I know other people who have had that happen, and I know they are going through a lot of pain.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that surprised me, and we started doing it later in the shootings, was when we had guests over for a family-style meal before the filming. That was a real highlight for me.
I think we did that pretty early, though.
I don't remember how far back it went, but it just seemed like... because in the really early days, we try and meet people the day before, and then they come.
Oh yeah, not that day. Yeah.
Julie and Ty, we went to Chili's with them.
Yeah.
And that's where we picked up the idea that this would be good. There were a few. Josh K. He was in Castle Rock, and we did him through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
But most we were eating with them fairly early on.
Yeah, that was such a good experience.
Yeah, and that was when we really, because you would do research and then, you know, we'd write the questions and but when we really sat down, it was like we got to know them, and it was like, oh yeah, and then it's like that's when you thought in your head, you know, both of us, like, we got to ask more about that, you know, and less about that.
Well, it was helpful to have people's social media and stuff you could research, because a lot of them would...
Well, yeah, it gave you a basis. Yeah. It gave you a basis.
It gave you a basis, you know, just some things.
Well, you guys developed your process, because initially we would meet them, we would do pre-production on separate nights. Then you would send them the questions, then we stopped doing that because... most of them didn't really read them anyway.
A few people did. A few people did.
And
a few people printed them out and had answers written on them.
Yeah, but it was good to watch you guys develop as interviewers to where you could take someone that you didn't even have a lot of information on and pull out a full 2-episode run.
Yeah, towards the end, probably the last 6 months or so, one of the things I started doing that was a little bit new is I would just ask people, tell me 6 or 8 topics that you're passionate to talk about. You know, it wouldn't even be asking, but just, tell me what you're excited to talk about. You know, and we'll make sure we ask you about that. You know, or just like present the topic and let people talk.
Right, because I mean, we had almost a whole episode on comic books. Cause,
yeah, that always amazed me when. And what pleasantly surprised me over the 3 years is that most people were really nervous about doing it, and they did fantastic. And there's a few guests I was really nervous they wouldn't talk at all or not enough.
and most of them, once they got on, they started talking.
Yeah.
Because we had that one pre-production meeting where we were worried that we couldn't even get 45 minutes out of the guest, but it worked out really well.
Yeah, I thought so many of the guests did a great job. I mean, we had a few that were a little more challenging for various reasons, but overall, just fantastic guests that gave of their time and their shared their stories, which was really fantastic.
And they were not only entertaining for the audience, they were entertaining for us. Because some of these stories were so unbelievable. What happened to people. We had people who's prayed to God to help them, and they got arrested. And they said that was the best thing that happened to them.
Boy, yeah, that was amazing.
And that something like that makes you think.
For sure. One other, I thought it was a really heartwarming compliment from a couple of people that we interviewed that sort of do their own filmmaking and podcasting and whatnot, is we got some really nice compliments from people that I consider really know what they're doing in the field about the way we ran our studio, our checklists and things we would put in place to ensure good quality and a good experience. We had some that I would consider people that knew a lot more than me that were really impressed with what we did, and that was a really nice compliment.
One of the biggest things we did as a group was make sure the guest is comfortable.
Oh yeah.
So they, just not going to be scaring you in any way. The questions are going to...
Sure. We really found that spaghetti sauce we made with psilocybin mushrooms really helped the guests relax.
That took it away from me. You weren't allowed to use that.
Yeah, that was after they were legal in Colorado. Yeah.
But Peter's jokes, no, those were always a bad idea.
Well, I don't remember which guest, but there's a few of them where we just started telling jokes back and forth, and they were terrible.
You and like Shepard.
Yeah, I mean, we wouldn't stop. We would just keep going. Yeah,
And we actually needed it because that episode got so dark where I was afraid people go out to the bar and start drinking.
She had a very sad story to tell.
Yeah, we talked about some of the abortion issues.
Right, and she brought up a lot of good points on both sides, weaknesses, both sides of the argument, and we were so busy arguing we forget about the people, and that's where she was concerned, and as she's doing work, I'm not only concerned, but she's worked charity to help individuals who go through things like that.
Yeah, that was a really a couple of heavy episodes, but I still remember the stupid jokes.
Doug and I tried to put them out of our minds, but they keep coming back.
And they're on YouTube, and I'm not sure if that episode made it to Rumble.
No, Rumble was addition for the third year. That was the first time we had done that, and she was
first year
pretty early on.
Yeah, she was pretty early on.
Yeah,
we interviewed her husband episode and about cigar smoking, and we'll tell you a secret. We did 3 episodes in one day, and I was...
You were tired.
That was that Saturday where we pulled off, 3 guests, 6 episodes in one day.
No, 5. We had a third guest? Yeah, we did. We had an earlier guest.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, 5 episodes because John Shepard only did 1.
Yeah.
It was 5 episodes.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about more episodes.
When we come back, because I'm going to ask Doug the question about the physical building of the studio when we come right back here. Well, welcome back to the third chair. I'm Peter. That's Doug, with producer Doug roaming the streets. And
looking for a little more chili.
a little more chili. That was
It's
good
a
chili.
good chili today.
That was good chili pre-production. Boy, that had a little bite.
Yeah.
That had a little bite.
You have to be able to take some.
Yeah, you have to
It
take a
wasn't
punch.
too
We have to
prepared.
be careful about
but,
extra sound effects in the episode.
Yes, how do you toot quietly?
Peter does not know.
No,
I hope
no.
you're not asking me. I hope that was very
So COVID hit, and we had been filming a bunch of stuff outside, and a sci-fi series, and we thought, well, maybe we need to do something because we're not allowed outside anymore, or the COVID police would come harass you, and we decided to build a studio.
Yes.
And-
And let me say one thing. It was very disappointing because you and I wrote
Season 3.
season 3, 13 episodes, was about 100 pages. Producer Doug went through it. We had the scripts ready. We had all the actors ready. I mean,
And I even had some,
We-
I've worked on some of the green screen effects for it that were already done and that we never got to use.
Yeah, we just.
so I mean, we
we were shut down.
prepped.
Yeah, we prepped.
And when we had a new actor, young actor, I was disappointed
Yeah.
for him because he was looking forward to working on that, and
Yeah.
gave him a significant role. We had your daughter back as
Meg
Big
Lord.
Lord.
Meg Lord, yeah.
My brother was coming back as Biker Dude.
Biker Dude, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that when we filmed that Day of the Dove, some of those scenes when you and your brother were pretending to be drunk
Oh yeah. I
on
remember we
the
had
pirate ship.
We had this little girl. She came up to me and says, "You know, my favorite scene is when you and your brother were pretending to be drunk."
What they don't know is those bottles you brought had still just a tiny bit of alcohol left in them, and we had them at the library.
Yeah, but it was a touch.
Well, we did the Day of the Dove, which was the name of the series. Remember we did that Christmas episode?
Oh, that was
in the
great.
snow.
That was my
There wasn't
favorite.
enough food, and I went out to Pizza Hut or someplace to get more food. And
No,
I
you did Pizza Hut. You went to Chick-fil-A.
John, Chick-fil-A to get more food. We had some pizza there already. And I went out into the snowstorm that was
Yeah.
just rolling in, and I made it back, and you guys had finished the 12 days of Christmas
we
song
had,
halfway through,
And
yeah.
halfway through, and then you came in and helped finish.
Yeah.
And you were the
They told
10th
us we
day.
had 20 minutes to finish up and get out.
To finish 2 hours of filming, yeah.
Yeah, but we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, that was fun.
I mean, and it was like, look at our script, and it was like, shoot, and then we were ad-libbing, and we forgot the punchline. We're just ad-libbing for like 10 minutes, and then we stopped, and we're like, oh, we're done. And the producer, what? It was like, oh, we gotta remember our punchline?
That was fun.
And that entire storm was not predicted. We didn't know it was
No,
coming.
it was
No.
not
and it
supposed to
was
snow
6
that
inches
night.
of snow.
Yeah, what we're
Damn.
talking about is we booked there's a film studio at one of the local public libraries, and we had booked it for 3 or 4 hours to film, and so we were expecting to have 3 or 4 hours before.
That was a great episode, and that song turned out great.
Yeah.
I mean, it was terrible singing, but
Well, it would be
but
good
it
if we
was
could have
entertaining.
released that as like our first hit.
I mean, you'd eat the videos with it too.
Well, something I find equally makes me laugh was the moment that you realized that although you have limited carpentry experience, that you knew more than Doug and myself combined in terms of building the studio.
And I knew we were in trouble because I am very limited.
I always
said-
thought it was measure once, cut twice. Apparently it's not.
Yeah, we cut the board twice and it was still too short. Yeah, and I remember at one point, I think it was down here. I had that big concrete drill, and where I was trying to drill into the wall. Was that down here that I was trying to do that? Yeah.
Yeah, but
And I had like no friggin' idea what I was doing. It's like, what I do, make a hole for a small stick of dynamite or what? Yeah.
But thank goodness, after a while, we said, well, let's go see what they say at Home Depot, and let's go. We need some stuff.
Glue
it on, and that.
Oh man! And then we just you got through it in 2 seconds.
So we slopped on some glue, and you pounded it on the wall.
Yeah,
but it took days for that to cure. I had to prop it up, and make sure it stayed up, and then behind you, Peter, that wall back there was supposed to be bonded. But the idea is, we could make it swing closed because there's a closet back there. We have never opened that ever.
Yeah, and you may never again.
I know we won't.
Well, I've always marveled that several of the guests have been impressed. Like, it looks so real on your episodes. You're like a real wood cabin kind of studio, and we have a good effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've always gotten a lot of compliments on when they come in and they see that it's, because I've seen home studios that they don't look great, they don't have a lot of equipment. They're impressed that we have quite a bit of equipment here, and we've added to it over the years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's turned out really well for us. And I'm sure we'll do some filming down here for our feature film project.
Yeah. And other opportunities that just come along. It's now a fully functional studio, including the ability to do green screen and special effects.
Yeah. Well, you've spent a lot of time learning those special effects. And what is it, Premiere Pro? Is that what you use?
Premiere Pro and their version of After Effects.
We meaning Doug, the producer.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch the editing computer.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. Doug learned a little, and you wandered around the library talking to everybody else. We weren't sure where you were.
But even if I went back and took the time to learn to do it, you're not going to let me do it on that computer. So it's like there's no way to be involved in editing anyways.
It's actually programmed to zap you if you touch the editing computer.
Yeah. Mr. Producer's very territorial.
It's kind of that class helped me in the fact that my wife sometimes will say, how did they do that? And I can tell her somewhat, they do this, and you can take the program and do that. And she says, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Although,
what you talking about?
There's lots of resources online where you can learn to do it, and if you want to take the time, but it does take a long time to learn.
And I still do that.
It's not the easiest, even when you know, because it's
time consuming.
It's you have to have a lot of patience because it's not a matter of just taking somebody and sticking them in and then leaving them, because there's work you got to do around that, and that's where the skill comes.
And I'll go to, when I'm doing something, when I decide there's something new I want to do and not sure, I'll go to YouTube and find someone that has done it successfully.
Yeah, it's amazing we can find on YouTube.
Yeah, I learned how to pound a nail,
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that's so funny. But, even with, although Marvel movies haven't been very good lately, a full feature, the longest part of the whole thing is the editing.
Yeah, sometimes the actor forgets they made the movie.
And the number of people involved in the effects. I mean, there will be 400 or 500 names who are involved in just taking a little piece of the effects and making it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now we don't have so many people doing the effects here in our company. Yeah.
But you look at the Snow White, and that's still great today, but they didn't have as many people, and they drew it frame by frame.
Yeah.
And they had a very interesting process with that stacked frame set that they would use to have each one, and those gels, those will go for $100,000 if you get a hold of one of those from the original movie.
Well, and just for the record, I'm willing to make a gel for like $5. You can buy my gel freer.
Well, after these
gel.
advertisement, Peter's going to show you his $5 gels.
They go in my hair. Yeah, no. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the third chair. I am Peter. There's Doug. There's Doug. There's Doug.
I don't know which Dougs he's talking about, but whatever.
We're abounding with Dougs. So, Doug, what was the most challenging part personally for you being a co-host and interviewing someone?
Other than Peter was your co-host.
Oh,
I ruined the answer.
I think, at the beginning I was like about as nervous as the guest because I was like, don't ask the right question. What if I don't ask the right question or stuff? And I think as we went along, I got more in the flow and more comfortable sitting here.
You really grew as a host from the very beginning when we were filming Aaron and he wanting to do the multiple choice theological questions, but you really grew well into it.
Oh yeah, you're very comfortable. Didn't take long before you were very comfortable. Did a good job.
And have fun with it.
Yeah. My biggest challenge is when there were episodes that I didn't get to talk. One or two. Wasn't many.
It always upsets Peter. Even in the game show episodes, he didn't get to talk as much.
And then, I guess the comic book episode you did.
Didn't talk much on that either.
Yeah.
No, but I thoroughly enjoyed watching you have a great conversation about it. It seemed to be like something that really kind of tickled your fancy.
And Arthur was so much fun.
Arthur had a very in-depth knowledge of comic books, and one of the things a lot of people know Marvel and DC, but he knew the underground, and I knew enough about the underground to be dangerous, and I read some of the stuff.
That was your brother's thing, and I know when we went up to Laramie, he saw that one independent comic artist that was there.
Oh yeah,
I think that's where he spent all his money.
Yes, I mean he's more. He started with like the superhero Marvel DC, and he did some underground. But as he's grown older, he's almost gone almost all underground. I don't know if he does any of the Marvel DC at all nowadays. So there's been some very creative things. I mean, Oscar-winning movies coming from graphic novels that are not DC or Marvel. I mean, so.
Well, almost in any field, you've got like the big boys. You got a few big names, and then you have sort of the independent, smaller people fighting for existence, but still competing in some ways.
And they, if they're good, they'll fill their ditch and not grow too fast. I remember we had an airline here in town, and it was great. And, people in town loved it, and we were the hub. And other people loved it, and then they grew too fast, and they doubled or tripled their amount of places they flew, and soon after they just couldn't afford it anymore.
Yeah, boy, that's the case. So, what surprised you about the amount of time it takes to prepare for an episode, even before we film it, even before we edit it, just getting ready? What were some of the things that surprised you about that part of the process?
I guess at the beginning it was kind of surprising, like prepping the questions and stuff, so that we would have good questions and stuff. But then after a while, we kind of got a rhythm to it. And I think that was it. And I think the hardest part of the whole thing was getting guests, because
I agree. That, in my mind, it turned out to be harder than I thought.
Getting guests was always...
Because, and I understand people being nervous about coming here. Some guests were like, right away it was yes. And some people surprised me saying yes, and some people, surprised me saying no.
And there were some potential guests that we chased down for months and always would say either to one of us, "Oh yeah, I'll do the show," but never commit.
Yeah, and then the hard part was, we had a few times we came here ready to go, and
guests would call and, sorry, my kid's sick or whatever.
Yeah, and then it happened 2 or 3 times, and it was like, okay, maybe this guest isn't ready to do the show.
Yeah.
Of course, Doug does get the award for the best process to get a guest at a garage sale.
Yeah.
Well, that was epic.
They were kind of unique, yeah.
They were.
And it was, totally luck. The only reason I stopped in the guest garage sale is because they had a sign to say, midlife crisis sale. Wow, let's just go see what this is. And it was down the street from where my in-laws lived.
So the sign didn't say midlife crisis sale, TV guests available?
No. I was just talking to the wife, and we do a little show, and you should, not far from here, because they don't live that far from here. And I said, and you could be a guest on it, you and your husband, and talk about what you're doing on a boat, and giving away dental things and selling on a boat.
The Caribbean,
The Caribbean, and it was great. They had 2 great episodes.
And that he understood the film space as well, because he does all the filming on their voyages, and borrowed a tripod from us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Really nice couple.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was one. I was like, hey, I'll just.
Part of the process that I really found unexpectedly awesome was when we would go down to Lightspeed, and there are just all these artists that just were so excited to talk to us, put in their 10 minutes of fame on the broadcast. Man, we didn't have to twist any arms. They were lining up.
Yeah, that last time we had 10 women, and all of them were just...
Well, that's because they fell in love with Peter. That's what I understand.
Oh, no, they were the eye candy, believe me.
That's also where we met Trevor. We didn't film him because he wasn't a woman, but he came on the show, and he wasn't in time for us to do the 6 specials. We didn't have it edited in time to put him on.
Yeah, I just, it was such a contrast in terms of who would like jump at the opportunity, and sometimes it felt like we're pulling teeth to get a guest. It just that was such a contrast
really
of
close,
experience.
and I would have loved to talk to both of them.
Yeah, and I had people that promised me over and over, and they were really busy people, and I kind of knew it was a long shot.
And I know he's busy. One of them I know he's very busy, and still busy.
It took at least, on average, I'd have to contact 5 people on Instagram to get one to come on.
He did better than I did.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a lot of people just normally, and I don't know, my numbers were worse than that, Doug. I probably for every 20 people.
You talked to the most people, though, because you got the most on the show.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I did. I think Doug may have, actually. But pretty close.
In the end, we all got some really good guests on there. Our Christmas episode, we brought Dick back, not physically, but he was one of our favorite guests, so he was the Christmas episode.
Oh, that was fantastic.
And Peter and I put the hats back on for that, and we talked a little bit about the episode and just let him tell that story, and his story is fantastic. It was such a good choice for a guest to put on the show.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
some history lessons there.
Yeah.
So, we're about to go to a break, but when we come back, we're going to preview a short film that we made called SANITIZED.
First thing we made was
a psychological thriller that we are rewriting and expanding into a feature movie. And I think it is the next segment. Is that right?
Well, we're going to talk about what we're filming in the next segment. Then at the end of it, we'll show you what we did before. And you'll see all of our mistakes from being new. But you'll get an idea of the feel of what's coming.
Hi, I'm Peter from Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching, and as you know, I do help people with drug and alcohol recovery issues. I love to help people get better, but I also offer a variety of other services, including regular life coaching services. I've helped several people write and finish a book. I've helped a doctor that was in medical school graduate and then get into a residency. And I also actually have quite a background in mathematics, and I do some math tutoring for the GED as well as the ASVAB for those that are thinking about a career in the military. So my contact information is on the screen. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk about some of these services and how I can help. That's Peter Grigg at Pikes Peak Recovery Coaching. So apparently we're not yet showing the.
We're going to
talk about it.
This was the first thing we ever filmed. We got friends and family. We filmed it at my house.
And my boss actually came in and did work. Then one of my co-workers was playing a cop who could not holster a weapon, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He
had fun with that. My daughter called in the middle, and I had
to
turn the sound off, so we had to start at the beginning. That was
we learned a
lesson there.
Lesson. Yeah, if you're on set, turn your cell phone off.
I think that clip is still on our 2 Men and a Duck YouTube.
Yeah, very good. Yeah,
because your expression, Peter, was just because you were really in your character, and this ring came on, and you knew what ring it was. It was the Amanda ring.
Yeah, it was the Amanda ring.
And you just look up like, oh boy.
No, we're filming, and I'm already in trouble.
That's the one where also my son's head was the decapitated head that drew the most attention at the shorts.
Well, Donna is an excellent
makeup artist.
I mean, she did our makeup artist for all of Dove.
Mm-hmm.
And and that people, because that head was amazing. I mean, you would swear if you were watching that scene that it wasn't a real head, or was really decapitated and were really murderers or something like that.
And
Because
Josh
it
had to
looked
sit
so
in that
realistic.
box for an hour to get
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some great filming.
Because
we
we
were
were
really
as
new to
quick
it,
as
yeah.
filming a scene
Yeah.
in those days because we were just learning.
Yeah, we were just figuring it all out, and then I hadn't done a lot of editing yet, so I had to figure out how to edit it. Now I look at it and see all the things I should have done, but
everything, even the
so
lights,
valuable,
the audio could have been tweaked a little bit. It was still good.
Did we film that first, or did we film the pilot for Day of the Dove?
Did we film Day of the Dove?
I think we may have filmed the pilot for Day of the Dove first.
Yeah, I
We did
think
that in
you're
the middle
right.
of the week, yeah. And
Yeah.
that was a dark version of it.
And then we changed it to a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We had a little comedy in the dark version.
a little bit. But
Just the idea that a dove was controlling all these humans. And Ron was in that one.
Yeah.
Rob
Yeah.
Banta,
Yeah, and he was so good in playing the creepy character. And Stephanie did a great job. And that was her daughter was in it briefly.
She might be all grown up now. I don't know.
She's at the Colorado Film School.
She is?
Yes, so she's
Maybe
she's
we
studying.
maybe we permanently scarred her.
Or we can talk to Stephanie about killing her.
Yeah.
Not for real.
Yeah, the log line on the 15-minute or 10 to 15-minute short film we did was basically a cop is hunting a serial killer, and he has this doctor friend who helps him, kind of like Holmes had Watson, and they go after the killer, and the twist is when you find out who the killer is.
Yeah.
And you'll have to stay to watch the show to see the decapitated head and the twist in the show.
Twist at the end, yeah. But I mean, for our first time, it was our second time filming, and we were rough. We were still playing with it. The Day of the Dove, we did 2 seasons of it, and we were improving it all the time. We were going there. We would try different things.
And we had some challenges. In the library, we always had really good sound control, but when we went into your basement, we didn't know how to shield the sound of normal things that happen in the house.
Like the water
Water
heater.
But we learned how to do green screen because it was a pirate ship. We had to create our own environment to do that. We only had one on exterior light, and that was when we went on that island, and Hatchie the pirate, aka Jeremy, aka what was his
Purple Beard.
Purple Beard, yes. We did that one scene there, and then he winds up on the ship. But
Yeah, him and his wife and his kids were in that too. That was good. Yeah,
they
that was
were
fun.
half the cast. So
They were. He had a second season.
Yeah, that was a learning experience with. Also, we had animals. It's
Yeah.
filming with animals
Queen
and kids.
Karma. That's a.
I understand why Hollywood has these
AKA
rules.
Samson.
That's
Yeah.
right. Pip played Samson.
Pip played Samson.
And Karma played Queen Karma.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think Doug's other half was the voice for Queen Karma,
Yeah.
wasn't she?
And then we
Yeah,
had
she
Darwin the turtle that Peter scared to death.
What? What did I do to that poor turtle?
You dropped a sucker on it.
I just bounced off its helmet.
Yeah. After that, I said, "Yeah, we're not doing that again because I'm going to be in trouble for this one."
Yeah, especially if we show Leslie the scene.
I think she's seen it.
Yeah.
No, she was in the show too.
Yeah,
She ran someone down on a
spy
scooter.
who loved me.
Yeah, she ran me over in a scooter.
That was before she was the spy.
Yeah, and she was a spy on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
But the sanitizers, we had talked for years what we want to do next, and next is to create Sanitize as a feature-length film.
Yeah. And complete with, we have some artists that are going to do a soundtrack, an original soundtrack, including some scary music. Got to have suspenseful, scary music. Yeah. Even if it's just a scene like cutting to a little cat. Scary music, cat. Ah!
Scary movie cat. Whatever.
You're probably looking to get Peach in the film too. But Peach will want extra money.
Pete.
Carrots.
Peach was in Day of the Dove.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we filmed it at the Just Living Center, which is now famous for another reason.
Yeah, not a good reason. But we would use what they call, in England they call it squirty cream. And we would use that to get Peach to do things for us.
The Ready Whip.
Ready Whip.
Yeah, Ready Whip.
Yeah, she would come running over and lick.
But Pip was the first dog in it because the opening scene of the first episode, the accountant walks with Pip, and
I narrated with a horrible, evil guy.
Yeah, and I look at the sign and it says "Evil Headquarters" or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would shake my head. That was the first scene of the Day of the Dove.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said, remember, you're just walking. We're filming from two angles, just walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah, when we did our short film for SANITIZED, that was also the first time in any of the stuff we had done where we had some stage combat. Because I remember I choreographed like a knife fighting type scene with Stephanie.
And you were chasing Stephanie in Doug's house.
Yeah.
And she spun around with the knife. She did a really good job with that too.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It looked pretty good.
Because you had that
slow
walk. You were walking in slow. Your badge kind of flowed in. That's how we kind of gave who we were trying to pin the.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. You know,
and we filmed that because we filmed it so that your face wouldn't appear on the
because
screen.
you didn't look anything like Adam.
No, I didn't. Well, we both were pretty good looking, but we looked different, yeah.
I still remember I love that we were trying to film and we did 6 takes of Adam trying to holster his weapon. So we finally said, just put it on the table.
Yeah. Just put it on the table, yeah. Yeah, we had a firearm on set. Of course, when you do that, you have to be very careful to have it unloaded and
it was
double
completely
check.
unloaded. Yeah. We had no things that would wind up on the news like other films.
Like other famous actors?
Yes.
That shoot people dead?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it'll be a psychological thriller. There'll be some murders, obviously.
Some horror-esque stuff, but not...
Yeah, but it'll be more the suspenseful anticipation as opposed to cut and slash.
More Hitchcock.
Yeah, more Hitchcock.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, exactly. That's well put. So that doesn't mean it won't have the capacity to scare you. It'll just be not gory.
Yeah, which sometimes is more scary because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right, or even what happened.
Yes.
You just hear a crossbow fire and a body drop, but you don't know. The
we
details.
may be able to use the new crossbow I'm going to get.
Oh, definitely. And maybe we'll modify it and make it shoot cyanide darts.
Well, at least tell the audience it's cyanide darts.
Yeah, we're not going to put real cyanide in it.
We better not kill any real people.
Yeah, no real people.
So are we going to show the film now?
Yeah.
Because I can hardly wait.
Are we going to take a break before we show the film?
We're going straight into the film. That is our break.
That is our break. The film.
Entertaining break.
All right. Please enjoy this.
Thanks for ordering. After all, famous surgeon should be able to afford to buy me a good scotch. Too bad this is not good scotch.
Well, I wouldn't know. I'm a bourbon man myself. I missed you at the ceremony.
Sorry. Another hooker killed. Third this month. Between John murders and someone going after hookers and drug dealers, I don't know when I'd have time to watch you get an award for being such a bleeding heart liberal like yourself.
Well, you're in luck. Susan had someone record it.
Another on him.
I'm so generous.
I don't know about anybody else, sir, but I owe my life to you.
Do you know that kid?
Yeah, I helped him get off the streets. He was using pretty heavy.
Well, now he's selling.
Oh, shit.
Enjoy, sir.
Time for you to watch my award ceremony.
Why do I gotta watch a sappy speech? I don't even understand why we're friends.
You want me to look at something? Then watch the video. It's the part I get in trouble. Besides, we're friends because I'm brilliant, awesome, and I help you solve cases. I'm not much for speeches, but Susan wouldn't let me hire a writer, so you will have to endure. The award should go to Susan. This has been her life work. The street problem has been swept under the rug because they make us uncomfortable. They make you uncomfortable. Homeless forced to steal and sell drugs. Women with no choice but to sell themselves. We didn't tell you that we invited the street community, and I watched as all of you shared a meal with someone that smelled or had slept with your husband for money. Well, Susan wasn't too happy about that.
Yeah, she's really giving it to you there.
Sorry. Thanks for the award.
Some save.
She was really glad that the donors had already signed those checks. So what you got?
Well, they call him the surgeon. He kills, dismembers the homeless, hookers, drug dealers. CSI is almost thinking that it's surgical precision.
Serial killer? Vigilante?
Well, either way, it'll still make my job easier.
They didn't plan on being poor and living on the streets. The government failed them. They need help.
This killer is sanitizing the city. And, is this one of your patients, or, you and Susan have something special planned for tonight?
Let's just call it an occupational hazard.
Burns when she pees. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there in 15. Another John murder. And, tell your friend over there, have her not leave town because we might have to question her a little bit later. Dealing hunters.
Randy, who the hell made you judge and jury?
Me.
Hi.
Serial killer? Vigilante? Make my job easier. You're not calling action? Why are we friends?
Okay. Line, please.
No, they didn't plan on being poor and living on the streets. The government.
What was that?
That was 70s entrance.
We're ready for time.
Hey guys, the first is fucking alright.
Well, welcome back to the third chair, and as we wrap up the final episode, I wanted to ask Doug to tell us a little bit about the new project he's working on.
Well, I'm writing baseball, and it's on a site called Terry's Blog. He lets me write articles on there about baseball, and I'm playing with some different ideas, and I'm waiting kind of because we're kind of regrouping because the site we were all on is closing down, and we're working on creating another site.
Nice.
Terry's doing a lot of the work, so he's been busy.
So when you write an article for a blog, do you primarily do a lot of statistical research before you write, or is it more
I
the
do
history?
statistical research, but didn't write a history around it. Because to me, I've seen books like people rank their top 1,000, and all they talk about is the rankings. And sometimes I do that, probably more than I like, but I'm also trying to tell a story about the player in there, so they get an idea of the player. Then even on other things, I ranked, I use a system like to rank the best leadoff man. That's on the blog, and I would have interesting facts I found when doing the research for that. Do
you ever find doing the research and incorporating your writing where you learn something new about the game, in this time period, teams that did X, Y, or Z in terms of strategy won more often? Do you find those kinds of...
Oh, yeah. All the time. I mean, not necessarily who won, but, interesting facts about, the players of the game. I don't know, in the late 1800s to about 1920, maybe 1930, there are some interesting names that you wouldn't think people would have these names. And you just... doing my research, I kept running into these names, and I read them on this one blog where a bunch of people responded, and they started getting interested in the names, and then I started looking for the names even more. It's like, hey, this guy didn't make the top 10, but here's his name. He was like 7th in stolen bases that year. Because just the names themselves sometimes were interesting. I mean, it's kind of weird. I didn't think names would be that interesting, but
Well, maybe the names of baseball players can make some good names for characters in our new feature film.
oh yeah, people won't believe that somebody actually had that name in the past.
Yeah, sure. That's so awesome. And are you doing video clips or anything like that on the blog site?
No, it's so far it's been all writing.
It's been all writing.
Yeah.
And
I don't even have a camera on my main computer.
oh my goodness, you need to update, brother. Yeah.
It's the Moses X180 computer. You have.
Moses
The
X1.
Moses X180 Abacus.
Yeah. There's another site that's kind of down now because the guy who ran it died. A very nice guy, but we could put the address for that site on too.
Yeah.
But and one site that's going down, a famous writer had it, and we started our own little Hall of Fame when I first joined, and then that was mentioned by a famous baseball writer not long ago on his blog site.
Wow, that's awesome.
He said, "Yeah, these guys had and these are the people," and then he had my nickname in there, my online nickname.
You've got an online nickname?
Yeah, it's by beginning of my email address, BearBiz.
BearBiz. Oh, wow.
I just because everybody had a nickname, on the site. So
Yeah, that's great.
even though a lot of us now know our real names, but
that is fantastic. I'm really glad to hear that. And it's been a pleasure doing the show and putting it on YouTube and Rumble the last 3 years.
Been a good 3 years, yes.
Been a good 3
yes.
years. And one last note, if you're in the Colorado Springs, Colorado area, and you might be interested in participating in a feature film as an extra, an actor, a cameraman, a sound guy, whatever, we'll put some contact information on the screen and send us a note, let us know, and we'll get back to you.
All right, thank you, everybody, for watching us and joining us on this journey for the last 3 years.
Thank you, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the... Well, you probably don't need to hit the bell notification icon because we won't be uploading any more of these episodes. But do watch our other ones.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube and Rumble.
YouTube and Rumble.